So maybe doubling down on the Spongebob D-writing wasn't exactly the best look for Ariana?
I'm down here, sir.
Please tell me that is your nose.
It isn't.
Say what you will about her new era, the new single, Yes and, the woman knows how to market herself and sell the controversy. Hey neighbor, welcome back to the channel. My name is John. Ariana Grande has new music out, and more importantly, a new relationship and new controversy that's been sizzling for a while, but it's now been finally properly tossed onto the burner. And I think this drama is a little bit more important than most people are giving it credit for. By important, I mean sleazy and downright shady behavior from Ariana Grande and, of course, her new partner, Ethan Slater. If you've been living under Patrick's rock, then perhaps you've not been following this. Ariana had a song a couple of years ago called Break Up With Your Girlfriend, I'm Bored, and even at the time, I called out the shitty mentality behind that in my review of that album. I definitely have felt a lot of empathy for Ariana in the past, knowing her upbringing and the whole Nickelodeon, Dan Schneider machine, of course, the incident at her Manchester concert, and I'm sure the PTSD that's followed from that, and the death of her ex-boyfriend Mac Miller, but that empathy only goes so far. Fast forward to 2023, and Ethan Slater is a married man performing as SpongeBob in SpongeBob the Musical, doing some other SpongeBob events, and also meeting Ariana Grande on the set of their new film, Wicked Part 1 and 2. Wicked, of course, one of the longest-running Broadway productions of all time. It's being adapted to film. We'll see how that goes. But the controversy behind it is that, if you notice, on Mother's Day of 2023, not even a year ago at the time of recording, Ethan Slater is posting a photo of his then wife and their newborn child. And not even 2 months later, by the summer of 2023, he's left his wife for Ariana Grande. Sound familiar?
Break up with your girlfriend. Yeah, 'cause I'm bored.
I can't help but laugh because I feel so awkward and so bad for the woman that was left in the rear view. Her whole life was turned upside down, likely because Ariana Grande was horny and bored. I felt it was important for you guys to be on the same page with all of the drama because the song Yes and doesn't really make sense without the drama, especially because of lines like, why do you care whose dick I ride?
Why do you care so much? Who's that right?
Girl, it's not so much that we care whose dick you ride, it's just like maybe don't ride the dick of somebody in a relationship or, as a child, a married man. The way Ariana tries to paint everyone in this new song and the music video is so black and white, and it really shows her and her PR team really just trying to lift the weight of an entire mountain to spin this. And at least to me personally, it falls flat on its face and looks embarrassing and tacky. Not that this really affects my opinion of the song itself, but the music video for Yes and kind of paints all critics as these flip-floppy, old-school people that look like they're dressed as a critic in 1972, not something from the modern era. And the reason she paints them as this type of person that would criticize her music for no reason, criticize her actions, talking about the drama, it's easier to deal with that and paint them as these extremists or these old boomers stuck in their ways, rather than accept any kind of actual criticism to people who are saying, hey, Ariana, kind of like your music, girl. I mean, I got vinyl sitting right here. I'm a fan of a lot of Ariana's stuff, but I cannot support this, and I also just hate the way that she did the video.
Very well done. Everybody else. They'll just love it. They'll love it.
Girl, you cannot be serious. You have all of the critics joining you at the end of the video and they start dancing around her, and then the next batch at the end are sent up in the elevator implying that, oh, I'm gonna change all of the critics' minds. Brainwashing is not super effective on me. I survived 15 years of Christian schooling, so I've kind of learned to identify those red flags. This is becoming a pattern in her personal life and in her art, and these two things are bleeding into each other so much that it's hard to separate one from the other. Now I know I haven't really talked about Yes and as a musical composition, a single of its own, so let's get into that right now. Once again, producers Max Martin and Ilya team up with Ariana to make this single, and I really feel like the production is just neutered. This song feels very formulaic, very basic. The hook is so undercooked, maybe underserved, understated. It seems like she's chasing after the pot of gold in the rainbow of Renaissance by Beyonce, something that embraced the club and disco sound and fused it together with elements of R&B. But I really don't see this track as having any of the punctuation or personality needed to sell something of this caliber. Maybe that's close-minded of me. Not every single Ariana track or even lead single has to be this absolute smash, like No Tears Left to Cry, or is something from way back in the day like The Way with Mac Miller. For one, Ariana just didn't impress me with her vocals on this track. They feel almost a little bit too low in the mix for as talented of a singer as she actually is, and the instrumentation is so formulaic, so stale, or maybe safe is the better word, that I could definitely see it working in a club setting. But is it really gonna pop off outside of that? My God, if you're gonna be this controversial and this flippant about home wrecking and quite literally ruining lives, then at least make the music pop the fuck off, right? The single isn't awful, and I don't really want to put that sentiment out there. It's just the awful aftertaste that it leaves you with. It's like taking cough medicine, and then you're just like, yeah. It really feels like Ariana sees the world as some sort of video game that she's able to control, to save, to jump out of, or back into whenever she wants to. She has those anchor points only to knock them over like pillars in the Colosseum of Rome. We're really far removed from Ariana's acting career, from Nickelodeon, Dan Schneider. All of that stuff has gone the way of Honeymoon Avenue way in the rear view. But this is really a different side of her that it feels like she's regressing artistically, emotionally. I don't want to sit here and say that I know Ariana personally, I know Ethan Slater, and I know that they're just horrible people from these assumptions on the outside. But how are we not supposed to come to that conclusion when you're so arrogant about the way that you treat the situation, almost like you're bragging about the fact that you ruined a family? As a critic, I've had my issues with Ariana in the past, most of them being musical ones, like Seven Rings. But this is a different tier entirely, and I would love to pass the question off to you guys, because it has me feeling icky and twisted up. I don't know really exactly what to say or how to handle this, other than coming to the conclusion that Ariana Grande is not a very good person. Take to the comments, let me know your thoughts on the Ariana drama, the new single, anything that you want to share. Keep in mind, these were just my thoughts, my opinions. I realize that maybe they're not going to be popular, but I think a lot of people also will understand why so many of us are justifiably upset with Ariana. If you want to see me talk more positively about her, then check out my top 10 or my review of Thank You Next on screen, and I'll be back soon.